What happens when helping a stranger changes your life forever? Maya Johnson sees the drowning man and doesn't think twice. She dives into the rough waters of Sunset Beach, pulling him to safety. CPR. He breathes again. Then everything changes. A black Rolls-Royce roars onto the sand. Bodyguards in suits sprint toward them, shouting into earpieces. Maya freezes, hands still on the stranger's chest. Who is this person? The man whispers urgently, "Don't tell them I tried to—" "David!" A woman's voice cuts through the chaos. Senator Patricia Whitmore steps from the luxury car. Maya recognizes her from campaign posters across the city, the most powerful politician in the state. And Maya just saved her son. The girl who can barely afford rent just rescued someone who could change everything. But first, she needs to survive what comes next. 6 hours earlier, Maya's alarm buzzed at 5:30 a.m. in their cramped studio apartment. No snooze button. Electricity costs money they don't have. Her mother, Elena, coughs from the fold-out couch that doubles as her bed. The sound is getting worse. Maya pretends not to notice the flecks of blood on the tissue. "Morning, Mama?" Maya fills a cracked mug with tap water and hands Elena her morning pills. 3 different medications that cost more than Maya's weekly paycheck. "You don't have to work today, mija," Elena whispers. "Stay home. I want to work." Maya kisses her mother's forehead. The truth is simpler. They need every dollar. The walk to Sunset Beach takes 20 minutes through neighborhoods that tourists never see. Broken streetlights, boarded windows, kids playing soccer with a deflated ball in empty lots. Maya arrives at the lifeguard station, a weathered wooden tower with peeling red paint. The beach umbrella has 3 holes. The first aid kit is missing half its supplies. The city keeps promising improvements that never come. But this is her domain. She climbs the tower and surveys her stretch of coastline. Early morning joggers, a few fishermen. The water is rough today, dangerous for weak swimmers. On her phone, the news plays while she organizes equipment. Senator Patricia Whitmore speaks at a podium, surrounded by hard hats and construction workers. "My Infrastructure Renewal Act will transform our city," the senator declares. "We're building the future. Modern housing, improved facilities, economic opportunities for everyone." Maya half listens. Politicians always promise things for everyone. But everyone never includes her neighborhood. The news switches to weather. Storm system approaching. High waves expected. Maya checks her whistle, adjusts her chair, and settles in for another day. Just her, the ocean, and whatever challenges wash ashore. She doesn't know that in a few hours, one of those challenges will arrive in a black Rolls-Royce. At the Whitmore estate across town, David stares at his reflection in the marble bathroom. 20 years old. Trust fund. Ivy League education. Everything handed to him. So why does everything feel empty? His phone buzzes with texts from friends about parties and vacations. He deletes them without reading. The prescription bottles on his vanity tell a different story. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, sleeping pills. His mother's voice echoes from downstairs, sharp and urgent. Phone calls about campaign schedules, donor meetings, photo opportunities. Always performing. Always perfect. David slides open his window. The ocean calls to him from miles away. He grabs his car keys and leaves through the back door. No bodyguards, no handlers, just him and the need to feel something real. The drive takes 30 minutes through neighborhoods he's never seen, past convenience stores with bulletproof glass, past families waiting at bus stops, past lives completely different from his own. He parks at Sunset Beach and walks toward the water. The waves are bigger than expected, dangerous, perfect. Maya watches the young man in expensive clothes walk toward the surf. Something about his posture worries her. The way he stares at the water. The way he doesn't seem to notice the warning flags. She stands up in her tower, binoculars ready. The man wades deeper. too deep for someone who doesn't seem to be swimming. Maya's training kicks in. She grabs her rescue buoy and whistle. What she doesn't know is that saving this stranger will change everything about her carefully ordered world. The girl who never takes risks is about to take the biggest one of her life. And for once, helping someone else will help her too. But first, she has to survive what's coming. The envelope arrives on a Tuesday morning like a death sentence. Maya stares at the bold red letters. Final notice. Eviction in 72 hours. $3,200 in back rent. Late fees. Court costs. Her mother sleeps on the couch, unaware that their world is about to collapse. Maya's hands shake as she calculates on scrap paper. Her lifeguard job pays $12 an hour, 25 hours a week. Her evening shifts at Rico's Diner bring in maybe $200 in tips. Good weeks, bad weeks, it doesn't matter. The math never works. Rent, $1,800. Utilities, $150. Elena's medications, $400. Groceries, $300. Bus fare, $80. Income, $2,100. Every month they fall further behind. Maya opens her laptop, a refurbished machine from the community college library sale. Her college applications sit in draft folders. Pre-med at State University, nursing at community college, scholarship deadlines approaching fast. But what's the point? How can she think about college when they can't even keep a roof over their heads? The apartment door creaks. Elena emerges from the bathroom, moving slowly.
Morning, mija.
Her voice is hoarse.
Mama, we need to talk.
Maya hides the eviction notice behind her back.
Later. I have my appointment today.
The clinic. Maya had forgotten. Elena's monthly checkup costs $200 they don't have. 20 minutes later, they sit in plastic chairs at the community health center. The waiting room smells like disinfectant and desperation. Elena fills out paperwork with shaking hands. Insurance? The receptionist asks. We're still waiting for approval, Maya lies. They were denied 3 months ago. That's $200 today. Maya's stomach drops. She counts the crumpled bills in her wallet. $143.
Can we make a payment plan?
The receptionist's expression softens.
I'm sorry, honey. Policy is policy.
Elena starts to stand.
We'll come back later.
No. Maya grabs her mother's arm. Wait here. She approaches the desk again. Look, my mom has been coughing up blood. She needs help. I'll work something out with the billing department. The doctor can see her today if you pay at least half now. Maya empties her wallet. Every dollar. Their grocery money for the week. In the examination room, Dr. Martinez reviews Elena's charts with a concerned frown. Your mother needs specialized care, he tells Maya privately. These medications aren't enough anymore. She needs to see a pulmonologist. How much? Without insurance? Initial consultation is $800. Treatment could be thousands. Maya feels the walls closing in. Her mother is getting sicker. They're about to be homeless. College seems like a fantasy. There are programs, Dr. Martinez continues gently. Charity care. But the waiting list is 6 months. 6 months Elena doesn't have. That evening, Maya walks home from her diner shift as streetlights flicker on. Broken windows, graffiti tags, police sirens in the distance. She stops at the corner store and counts coins for a loaf of bread. $2.47. Enough for dinner. The store owner, Mr. Kim, pretends not to notice when Maya lingers by the medicine aisle, staring at cough drops she can't afford. For your mother? He slides a package across the counter. No charge. Mr. Kim, I can't. My mother was sick once. I understand. Maya bites back tears. Even strangers show more kindness than life does. Back home, she finds Elena asleep on the couch, the eviction notice on the kitchen table. Maya makes a decision. Tomorrow, after her lifeguard shift, she'll visit the payday loan place on 5th Street. 30% interest. Dangerous debt. But what choice does she have? She opens her laptop and stares at her college essays. Why do you want to become a doctor? Because people like my mother deserve better, she types. Because having money shouldn't determine whether you live or die. Because someone needs to fight for people who can't fight for themselves. She saves the document and closes the laptop. Tomorrow she'll face another impossible day. But tonight, she allows herself to hope that somehow things will change. She has no idea that change is already swimming toward shore. 2 days after the rescue, Maya is restocking the first aid kit when a sleek black sedan pulls into the beach parking lot. Not the Rolls-Royce, but expensive enough to turn heads. David Whitmore steps out, flanked by a single bodyguard. He's wearing jeans and a polo shirt, trying to look normal, but his watch costs more than Maya's annual rent. Maya Johnson? He approaches the lifeguard tower cautiously. I'm David, from yesterday. I remember. Maya climbs down, keeping her distance. How are you feeling? Alive, thanks to you. His smile seems genuine, but there's sadness behind his eyes. I wanted to thank you properly. The bodyguard, a mountain of a man in a black suit, scans the beach like he's expecting snipers. This is Marcus, David says. He goes everywhere with me. Maya nods politely. Having a full-time bodyguard is so far outside her reality she doesn't know how to respond. I brought you something. David hands her an envelope. It's not much, but... Maya opens it. $500 bills. Her breath catches. This money could buy Elena's medication for 2 months, pay the electric bill, put food on the table. I can't take this. Please. You saved my life. David's voice cracks slightly. Money doesn't mean anything to me, but it clearly means something to you. Heat rises in Maya's cheeks. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I didn't mean... David runs his hand through his hair. I'm sorry. I'm not good at this. At what? Talking to normal people. The words hang between them like a wall. Maya realizes this is the first real conversation David has probably ever had with someone from her world. Look, she says carefully. I appreciate the gesture, but I was just doing my job. Living in that apartment is your job? Maya freezes. How do you know where I live? David's face reddens. My mother, she had you investigated, for security reasons. Investigated? Background check. Financial records. Medical history. David looks mortified. I told her it was wrong, but she said we needed to know who we were dealing with. Maya feels violated, exposed. They've pried into every corner of her private life while she doesn't even know David's last name was Whitmore until yesterday. Your mother thinks I'm dangerous? No. She thinks you're... David struggles for the right words. She wants to help. Properly. Help how? Dinner. Tonight. At our house. David's bodyguard shifts uncomfortably. She wants to thank you personally. Maya looks at the money in her hands. $500. Elena's medication. 3 weeks of groceries. But accepting feels like stepping into a trap she doesn't understand. I don't belong in your world, she says finally. Maybe my world needs people like you. Before Maya can respond, her phone buzzes. Text from the clinic. Elena's test results ready. Please call to schedule follow-up. Another appointment. Another bill they can't pay. Maya looks at David, this privileged young man who nearly died in her ocean, who has bodyguards and investigations and envelopes full of cash. One dinner, she says. Then we're even. Deal. David smiles, and for a moment he looks like a normal 20-year-old. I'll send a car for you. 7 o'clock. As the sedan pulls away, Maya stares at the money. $500 feels like winning the lottery. She doesn't know she's about to enter a world where $500 is pocket change, and where the real cost of their generosity will be far higher than money. The black Mercedes arrives precisely at 7. Maya has never been in a car worth more than her entire neighborhood. The driver, in a crisp uniform, holds the door open. "Good evening, Miss Johnson." Maya slides across leather seats that probably cost more than Elena's medical bills. The interior smells like expensive cologne and power. She touches nothing, afraid her worn clothes might stain something worth thousands. They drive through gated communities Maya has only seen in movies. Manicured lawns stretch like green carpets. 3-car garages house vehicles that cost more than most people's houses. Swimming pools sparkle like jewels behind iron gates. The Whitmore estate appears around a bend like a small palace. White pillars rise 3 stories high. Marble steps lead to doors that could accommodate a small army. Lights illuminate every perfect corner, casting shadows that dance across manicured hedges. Maya's stomach churns. What is she doing here? David meets her at the front door, wearing a button-down shirt and khakis. Still casual, but everything fits perfectly. Tailored to his exact measurements by someone who probably charges more per hour than Maya makes in a month. "You came," he says, relief evident in his voice. "I keep my promises." Inside, Maya tries not to gawk. Crystal chandeliers hang like frozen fireworks. Oil paintings in golden frames line hallways wider than her apartment. A staircase curves upward like something from a fairy tale, its banister polished to mirror shine. "My mother's waiting in the dining room," David says. "Fair warning, she can be intense." "Intense how?" "You'll see." The dining room could seat 20 people comfortably. Senator Patricia Whitmore sits at the head of a table set with china so delicate Maya fears breathing on it. She's smaller than Maya expected from television, but her presence fills the cavernous space. "Maya." The senator rises, extending a perfectly manicured hand. "Thank you for coming." "Thank you for inviting me." "Please sit." Senator Whitmore gestures to a chair upholstered in fabric Maya recognizes from magazine spreads, the kind that costs more than her monthly rent. A silent staff member appears with the first course, soup Maya can't identify but tastes like heaven distilled into liquid form. Each spoonful probably costs more than her usual dinner. "David tells me you work as a lifeguard," Senator Whitmore begins, cutting her soup with surgical precision. "Part-time. I also waitress at Rico's Diner downtown." 2 jobs. Admirable work ethic. The senator's smile is practiced, camera ready. "And your mother?" Maya's spoon pauses halfway to her mouth. "She's managing her condition. Pulmonary complications, according to our research. Chronic bronchitis with concerning progression." The words hit like a physical blow. Maya sets down her spoon with trembling fingers. "You investigated my mother's medical records?" "We investigate everyone who enters David's orbit. For his protection, you understand." "Protection from what? I saved his life." "And we're eternally grateful." Senator Whitmore's smile never wavers. "That's precisely why we want to help." The main course arrives on plates that gleam like mirrors. Steak that melts like butter, accompanied by vegetables carved into perfect geometric shapes. Maya calculates the cost, $50, $100, enough to feed her and Elena for a week, maybe 2. "What kind of help?" Maya asks, her voice carefully neutral. "David mentioned you're applying to college. Community college, he said." "Maybe, if the finances work out." "Why maybe? With grades like yours, top universities should be competing for your attention." Maya sets down her knife and fork. "Because maybe doesn't require a detailed financial explanation." David shifts uncomfortably in his chair. Senator Whitmore leans forward slightly, a predator sensing wounded prey. "Maya, I'm going to be completely direct with you. Your SAT scores are in the 99th percentile. Your GPA is outstanding despite working 2 jobs. You maintain perfect attendance while caring for a chronically ill parent. The senator's voice carries the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. You should be at Harvard or Stanford, not limiting yourself to community college. Top universities require top money. Money we can provide. Senator Whitmore signals to an assistant Maya hadn't noticed lurking in the shadows. Bring the folder. A leather portfolio appears on the table like magic. Senator Whitmore slides it across the polished surface with practiced ease. Full scholarship to State University. Pre-med program with guaranteed medical school placement. Plus a monthly living stipend and comprehensive family health care coverage. Maya opens the folder with shaking hands. Official letterheads. Legal documents with more zeros than she's ever seen in one place. University seals embossed in gold. $45,000 per year tuition. 4 years undergraduate. 4 years medical school. Plus $2,000 monthly stipend. Plus full medical coverage for her mother. This is... Maya's voice catches in her throat. This is over $500,000. A worthwhile investment in exceptional potential, Senator Whitmore says, cutting her steak with the same precision she uses for everything else. Why would you do this for me? Because David's life has immeasurable value, and you preserved that value without thought for personal gain. Maya looks at David, who stares at his untouched plate like he's searching for answers in the reflection. There must be conditions. Nobody gives away this much money for free. Minimal conditions. Senator Whitmore pours wine that probably costs more than Maya's monthly grocery budget. Occasionally, you'd appear at campaign events, success story material, the brave lifeguard who saved my son and earned her way to medical school through courage and character. Earned? Through the values I represent, hard work, determination, the belief that in America, anyone can achieve greatness with proper support. Maya's mind races through possibilities. Medical school means saving lives like her mother's. No more choosing between medication and rent. No more watching Elena cough blood into tissues they can't afford to replace. But it also means becoming a prop in someone else's political theater. What if I say no? Then you say no. Senator Whitmore shrugs elegantly. But opportunities like this don't come around twice in a lifetime. The dessert course arrives, something involving chocolate, gold leaf, and architectural precision. Maya doesn't touch it. I need time to think about this. Of course. Take all the time you need. Senator Whitmore signals for coffee in delicate cups. The paperwork can be finalized whenever you're ready. David finally speaks. Mom, maybe we should discuss... Should discuss what, David? His mother's voice carries a sharp edge. Should we not help someone who helped us? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean exactly? The tension between mother and son crackles across the table like live electricity. Maya realizes she's witnessing something deeply personal, something broken between them. I should go, Maya says, standing abruptly. Nonsense. Senator Whitmore's smile returns instantly. David will show you the gardens. Beautiful night for a walk. Outside, David leads Maya through grounds lit by hidden spotlights. Every flower, every tree, every blade of grass exists in perfect harmony. Nothing wild, nothing uncontrolled. I'm sorry about dinner, David says quietly. She gets focused when she wants something. What does she want from me? David stops walking beside a fountain that plays music with its water. Honestly, I think she wants to prove she's still capable of doing genuinely good things. What do you mean? Politics changes people. She used to be different. David sits on a marble bench carved with cherubs. Before the campaigns, before the constant calculation of every word and gesture. Maya sits beside him, careful not to let her uniform touch the expensive stone. "This scholarship offer," she says, "is it legitimate?" "Everything my mother promises is real. That's what makes her dangerous." "Dangerous how?" David stares at the fountain for a long moment. "Because once you accept something from her, she owns a piece of you. Forever." A chill runs down Maya's spine despite the warm evening air. "But you need this," David continues, his voice barely above a whisper. "And you deserve it. You saved my life when you could have just called for help and waited." "Why were you in the water, David? What really happened out there?" He doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he pulls out his phone and shows her the scholarship documents again. Official seals, university signatures. Already approved and waiting for her signature. "It's yours if you want it," he says finally, "regardless of what I think about my mother's political motivations." Maya stares at the papers glowing on the phone screen. Her entire future, wrapped in legal language and good intentions. "I'll give you my answer tomorrow," she says. But as the Mercedes drives her home through neighborhoods that look increasingly shabby after witnessing paradise, Maya already knows what her answer will be. How can she say no to saving her mother's life, even if it means selling her soul to do it? 3 weeks later, Maya's life transforms like a fairy tale. Elena sits in a real doctor's office, not the community clinic, discussing treatment options with Dr. Sarah Carter, one of the city's top pulmonologists. The appointment Maya could never afford is now covered by the Whitmore family's scholarship support program. "Your mother's condition is manageable," Dr. Carter explains, reviewing X-rays on a computer screen worth more than Maya's old laptop. "With proper medication and regular monitoring, she should see significant improvement." Maya watches Elena's face light up with hope for the first time in months. At home, their apartment feels different too. The eviction notice has been replaced by a receipt showing rent paid 3 months in advance. The refrigerator hums with fresh food. Elena's prescription bottles line the counter. Every medication she needs, no rationing, no choosing between pills and groceries. Maya opens her laptop to find 17 acceptance emails from universities across the country, all offering full scholarships, all mentioning her heroic rescue and exemplary character. Her phone buzzes with a text from David. "How's your mom doing?" "Better, thank you." Maya types back. "Want to grab coffee? I know a place that's not too fancy." Maya smiles despite herself. Over the past weeks, David has become something unexpected, a friend. He shows up at the beach during her shifts, helps with equipment, asks genuine questions about her work. He's nothing like the privileged stereotype she expected. They meet at Mel's Diner, a place with vinyl booths and coffee that costs $2 instead of $20. David looks more relaxed here, away from his mother's world of marble and crystal. "You're different from other people I know," David says, stirring sugar into his coffee. "Different how?" "You actually listen when people talk. You ask questions about things that matter." He pauses. "Most people in my world just wait for their turn to speak about themselves." "Maybe you need new people in your world." David's smile fades slightly. "My world doesn't work that way. Everything's calculated. Every friendship serves a purpose." "What purpose do I serve?" "That's what scares me," David says quietly. "I think my mother has bigger plans than just campaign photos." Maya's stomach tightens. "What kind of plans?" Before David can answer, his phone buzzes. His expression changes as he reads the message. "I have to go. Family meeting." He stands, leaving money on the table. "Maya, be careful around my mother, please." As David hurries away, Maya stares at her reflection in the diner window. For 3 weeks, she's lived without the constant weight of financial terror. Her mother is getting better. College acceptance letters pile up like winning lottery tickets. but David's warning echoes in her mind like a storm approaching shore. What exactly has she agreed to? Maya discovers the truth by accident. She's walking home from her diner shift when she sees protesters gathered outside City Hall. Signs wave in the evening air. Save our homes and stop displacement. An elderly man speaks through a megaphone about families being forced from their neighborhoods. Curious, Maya approaches the crowd. Mrs. Rodriguez from her building stands near the front, tears streaming down her weathered face. "Maya, mija!" Mrs. Rodriguez grabs her arm. "Did you hear? They're tearing down our whole block." "What are you talking about?" "The Infrastructure Renewal Act, Senator Whitmore's bill." Mrs. Rodriguez shows Maya a city notice. "They're condemning all the buildings on Sunset Avenue for a luxury development project." Maya's blood turns to ice. Sunset Avenue, her street, her building. When? 6 months, maybe less. Mrs. Rodriguez wipes her eyes. 43 families with nowhere to go. Maya snatches the notice, scanning the legal language. Eminent domain, public benefit. Authorized by the Infrastructure Renewal Act, the same bill Senator Whitmore touted at dinner 3 weeks ago. "There has to be some mistake," Maya says. "No mistake, sweetheart. Rich people want our land. Politicians help them take it." Maya's hands shake as she reads further. The development company, Whitmore Holdings LLC, a subsidiary of the senator's family business empire. They're not just displacing her neighbors, they're profiting from it. Maya runs home, her mind racing. In their apartment, Elena sleeps peacefully on the couch, her breathing easier thanks to new medications paid for by the family that's about to make them homeless again. She grabs her laptop and searches for more information. News articles from local papers the major media ignores. City planning documents buried in government websites. The picture becomes horrifyingly clear. Senator Whitmore's Infrastructure Renewal Act targets blighted areas for redevelopment. Translation: poor neighborhoods with rising property values. The city condemns the buildings, forcing out residents who can't afford lawyers. Then connected developers, like Whitmore Holdings, buy the land at below-market prices and build luxury condos. Maya's neighborhood isn't blighted. It's just not profitable enough for the people with power. Her phone buzzes. Text from David. "Can you meet me at the beach? Important." Maya arrives at Sunset Beach to find David pacing near the lifeguard tower, agitation radiating from every step. "We need to talk," he says without preamble. "Yes, we do." Maya's voice is steel. "About your mother's development project." David stops pacing. "You know?" "I know she's destroying my neighborhood to build condos for rich people." "Maya, it's not that simple." "It's exactly that simple." Maya's voice rises above the ocean wind. "She gave me a scholarship so I'd be grateful. So I'd stay quiet while she steals from my neighbors." David runs his hands through his hair. "She didn't tell me about the location until today. I swear I didn't know it was your building." "But you knew about the development projects." "Yes." David's admission comes out like a confession. "That's how our family makes money, politics and real estate. She uses her position to identify opportunities, then our companies capitalize on them. That's corruption." "That's Tuesday." David's voice is bitter. "And it gets worse." Maya's stomach drops. How could it possibly get worse? David pulls out his phone, shows her a news article draft. The headline reads, "Local hero supports infrastructure renewal. Lifeguard, who saved senator's son, endorses urban development plan." "They're going to publish this tomorrow," David says. "Quote you supporting the very bill that destroys your neighborhood." "I never said that." "You don't have to. They'll use photos from campaign events. Piece together quotes from interviews you haven't given yet but will be required to give." David's hands shake. "My mother has this all planned out." Maya feels the walls of the trap closing around her. "And if I refuse?" "Then you lose everything. Scholarship gone. Medical coverage for your mother canceled. Legal action for breach of contract. David's voice is barely above a whisper. She'll destroy your family to protect her political image. So I help her destroy 43 other families instead? Maya, there's something else you need to know. David takes a shaky breath. About the day you saved me. What about it? I wasn't swimming. I wasn't having an accident. David's voice breaks. I was trying to kill myself. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. What? The pressure, the expectations, the constant performance. Tears streamed down David's face. I drove to your beach because I'd seen you working there. You seemed like the only real person in this whole fake world. I thought if I died somewhere real, maybe it would mean something. Maya's anger transforms into heartbreak. David. But you saved me. Not just from drowning, from myself. David wipes his eyes. My mother knows. She's known from the beginning. That's why the bodyguards arrived so fast. They were tracking my phone because of previous suicide attempts. Why are you telling me this now? Because she's going to use it against you. If you don't cooperate, she'll claim you knew about my mental health issues and failed to report them. Make it look like you're responsible for any future attempts. Maya sinks onto the sand, overwhelmed. Every kindness was calculated. Every gift came with invisible strings. I was so stupid, she whispers. No, you were desperate. She's an expert at exploiting desperation. David sits beside her. But I have an idea. What kind of idea? We gather evidence, document everything. The corruption, the forced displacement, the cover-ups. David's voice grows stronger. We expose her publicly before she can destroy your neighborhood. With what proof? I have access to her files, financial records, communications with city officials, development contracts. David meets her eyes. But it's dangerous. If she finds out we're working together, she'll destroy us both. Yes. Maya stares at the ocean where she pulled David from the water 3 weeks ago. That rescue led her into this nightmare, but it also brought her the only ally who understands how powerful Patricia Whitmore really is. If we do this, Maya says slowly, I lose everything anyway. The scholarship, the medical coverage, all of it. Maybe. Or maybe exposing the truth creates better opportunities. Real ones, not bought with corruption. Maya thinks about Mrs. Rodriguez crying at the protest, about Elena sleeping peacefully on medications paid for with dirty money, about 43 families about to lose their homes so rich people can get richer. What do you need me to do? David's smile is the first genuine expression she's seen from him all evening. Help me be brave enough to fight my own mother. The next morning, Maya meets David at a 24-hour diner across town where no one from his world would ever venture. He arrives looking like he hasn't slept, carrying a laptop bag and constantly checking over his shoulder. I downloaded everything I could access, David says, sliding a flash drive across the cracked Formica table. Financial records, email chains, meeting notes. Some of it's encrypted, but the patterns are clear. Maya plugs the drive into her laptop. Spreadsheets fill the screen, numbers that make her head spin. Payments from Whitmore Holdings to city council members disguised as consulting fees. Contracts awarded without public bidding. Property assessments mysteriously lowered just before condemnation proceedings. This is massive, Maya breathes. How long has this been going on? Years. My mother's been perfecting the system. David points to a series of transactions. Look at the timeline. First, she identifies neighborhoods with rising property values but poor political representation. Then she introduces legislation targeting those areas for renewal. Finally, her companies swoop in with development projects. And nobody's ever caught her? Who would investigate? Half the city council gets money from her. The other half wants her endorsement for their own campaigns. David's voice is hollow. She's not just a politician. She's built an entire machine. Maya scrolls through email chains between Senator Whitmore and Mayor Henderson. Casual discussions about clearing out undesirable elements and maximizing property potential. They talk about human beings like furniture to be rearranged. "Look at this," Maya says, highlighting an email dated 3 months ago. "Your mother specifically mentions my neighborhood. Sunset Avenue presents optimal opportunities due to demographic composition and proximity to waterfront." Demographic composition, David translates. Poor people who can't afford lawyers. Maya's phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "Ms. Johnson, this is campaign manager Rebecca Walsh. Senator Whitmore needs to schedule your testimonial interview for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Please confirm." "It's starting," Maya shows David the message. "Don't respond yet. We need more evidence first." David opens another file. "I found something else. Records of previous renewal projects. The documents reveal a pattern spanning 5 years, 12 neighborhoods targeted, over 300 families displaced, millions in profits for Whitmore Holdings while former residents scattered to cheaper areas farther from jobs and schools." "She's done this before," Maya says, her voice tight with rage. "Successfully, every time." David closes the laptop. "But this time is different." "Why?" "Because this time, she made it personal. She brought you into her world, which means she brought someone who actually cares about the people she's hurting." Maya stares out the diner window at a bus stop where a mother waits with 2 young children. In 6 months, if Senator Whitmore succeeds, families like that from her neighborhood will be waiting at similar bus stops, heading to shelters or overcrowded apartments they can barely afford. "What's our next step?" Maya asks. "We need more than financial records. We need proof of direct coordination between her political office and the development company, something that shows clear corruption." "How do we get that?" David hesitates. "There's a board meeting tomorrow night. Whitmore Holdings executives meeting with city planning officials. If we could record that, that's breaking and entering." "That's journalism," David corrects. "And I know the building's security codes." Maya considers the risk. Getting caught would mean criminal charges, the end of any legitimate scholarship opportunities, and probably jail time. But letting Senator Whitmore succeed means watching her neighbors lose their homes while she stays silent, bought with dirty money. "There's something else," David says quietly. "My mother's assistant mentioned scheduling a family intervention for this weekend. I think they know I've been asking questions." "What kind of intervention?" "The kind where they ship me off to a wellness facility until after the election. Somewhere I can't cause problems." Maya realizes the stakes have just doubled. They're not just fighting for her neighborhood anymore. They're fighting for David's freedom. "We do this tomorrow night," Maya decides. "But we do it smart. Document everything. Get out clean. And if we're caught, then we go down fighting." David manages a weak smile. "You know, 3 weeks ago I wanted to die. Now I'm planning to take on the most powerful person in the state." "What changed?" "I met someone who reminded me what it feels like to be brave." As they leave the diner, Maya feels the weight of what they're attempting. Tomorrow night, they'll either gather the evidence needed to save her community, or they'll destroy any chance of a normal future. But normal was never really an option anyway. Not when staying silent means watching good people suffer while evil prospers. The emergency city council meeting is scheduled for Thursday evening. Maya has 48 hours to expose everything before Senator Whitmore's development vote becomes final. David's plan works perfectly, until it doesn't. Tuesday night, they successfully infiltrate the Whitmore Holdings board meeting. Hidden in a supply closet, Maya records an hour of conversation between Senator Whitmore, City Planning Director Tom Morrison, and 3 development executives discussing accelerated displacement timelines and minimizing public resistance. The smoking gun comes when Morrison asks about legal challenges. Legal challenges require legal representation, Senator Whitmore responds coldly. Poor people can't afford lawyers who understand eminent domain law. By the time they figure out how to fight back, demolition permits will already be approved. Maya's hands shake as she holds the recording device. This isn't just corruption. It's calculated cruelty. Wednesday morning, everything falls apart. Maya arrives at the beach to find her supervisor, Janet, waiting with two men in suits. Maya Johnson? The taller man flashes a badge. Detective Morgan, City Police. We need to ask you some questions about your relationship with David Whitmore. Maya's blood turns to ice. What kind of questions? Mr. Whitmore has been reported missing since yesterday evening. His family is concerned about his mental health. Missing? I saw him yesterday afternoon. Where? Maya's mind races. She can't mention the board meeting without revealing their plan. At the diner on 5th Street, we had coffee. Did he seem distressed? Mention plans to harm himself? The trap becomes clear. Senator Whitmore is using David's depression as a weapon, painting Maya as an irresponsible influence who failed to report suicidal behavior. David seemed fine. Better than usual, actually. Detective Morgan exchanges glances with his partner. Ms. Johnson, were you aware that Mr. Whitmore has been institutionalized twice for suicide attempts? No. The lie tastes bitter, but admitting knowledge would prove their case. His mother believes your friendship has been encouraging reckless behavior. She's concerned you may have information about his current whereabouts. Maya realizes Senator Whitmore isn't just silencing David, she's discrediting Maya in advance. When the development story breaks, Maya will be portrayed as an unstable girl who drives vulnerable young men to dangerous behavior. I don't know where David is, Maya says truthfully. They agreed not to contact each other until the council meeting. After the detectives leave, Maya's phone explodes with messages from reporters. Someone leaked David's disappearance to the media, along with photos of him and Maya together at the diner. The headlines are brutal. Senator's son missing after meeting troubled local girl, and lifeguard's dark influence on Whitmore heir. Maya's scholarship coordinator calls within an hour. Ms. Johnson, given recent events, the university feels it's best to postpone your enrollment pending resolution of this situation. Translation: scholarship canceled. By Wednesday evening, Maya's world collapses entirely. Elena's medical coverage is suspended due to ongoing investigation. The advance rent payment is frozen. Local news runs stories painting Maya as a manipulative girl who exploited David's mental illness for personal gain. Maya sits in her apartment, staring at the city council agenda on her laptop. Tomorrow night, 43 families lose their homes while she loses everything fighting a battle she can't possibly win. Then her phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Maya, it's David. I'm safe but hiding. Did you see the news? They're destroying me, Maya types back. I know. My mother is better at this than we thought, but I have an idea. What kind of idea? Trust me. Be at the council meeting tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'll handle the rest. Thursday evening arrives with unseasonable rain. Maya walks to City Hall through puddles that soak through her worn sneakers, carrying a folder containing printouts of every piece of evidence they gathered. The council chambers are packed. Mrs. Rodriguez and her neighbors fill one side of the room. On the other side sit well-dressed development supporters who clearly don't live in the affected neighborhoods. Senator Whitmore takes her seat at the witness table, perfectly composed despite her son's disappearance. Though, she wears a navy suit that probably costs more than Maya's annual salary. Before we begin, Mayor Henderson announces, I want to address recent media reports about this young woman. He gestures toward Maya, who suddenly feels every eye in the room. Ms. Johnson's personal difficulties don't affect tonight's proceedings, but I thought transparency was important. Maya's cheeks burn. Senator Whitmore has already poisoned the well. The presentation begins with glossy renderings of luxury condominiums and promises of increased tax revenue. Senator Whitmore speaks eloquently about urban renewal, and economic opportunity. Then it's time for public comment. Mrs. Rodriguez hobbles to the microphone, speaking in heavily accented English about her grandchildren and the garden she's tended for 20 years. The council members check their phones, bored. 3 more neighbors speak. Their words carry genuine pain, but the outcome feels predetermined. Maya approaches the microphone with her folder of evidence, knowing she's about to commit professional suicide. "My name is Maya Johnson. Some of you know me from recent news coverage." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. "I'm here to present evidence that the Infrastructure Renewal Act is not urban development. It's organized theft." Senator Whitmore's perfect composure cracks slightly. Maya opens her folder and begins reading from the recorded board meeting. Morrison's voice, discussing minimizing public resistance. Senator Whitmore's voice, explaining how poor people can't afford legal challenges. The room erupts. Council members demand to know how Maya obtained private recordings. Senator Whitmore's lawyer objects to illegally obtained evidence. "Where did you get this?" Mayor Henderson shouts over the chaos. Before Maya can answer, the chamber doors burst open. David Whitmore walks in, flanked by FBI agents in blue windbreakers. The room falls silent. "Ladies and gentlemen," David says, his voice carrying across the stunned chamber, "my name is David Whitmore. For the past week, I've been working with federal investigators to document corruption in this development project." Senator Whitmore goes white as printer paper. "The recordings you just heard are part of a federal investigation into racketeering, conspiracy, and violation of civil rights under color of law." David's voice grows stronger with each word. "My mother and her associates have been systematically targeting poor communities for illegal displacement and profiting from the theft of their homes." FBI agent Sarah Carter steps forward. "Senator Patricia Whitmore, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit racketeering and deprivation of rights under color of law." As handcuffs click around the senator's wrists, David approaches Maya. "I'm sorry I had to let you go through this week alone," he says. "But the FBI needed to document how she tried to silence witnesses. Your courage made this possible." Maya stares at the scene unfolding around her. Media crews scrambling for position. Council members arguing about postponement. Mrs. Rodriguez crying tears of relief. "What happens now?" Maya asks. "Now we rebuild," David says. "The right way." Outside, news vans line the street as Maya calls Elena to explain that their nightmare is over. Justice, it turns out, sometimes arrives like a thunderstorm, sudden, overwhelming, and washing everything clean. 6 months later, Maya stands where she once pulled David from the ocean. Everything has changed. The Sunset Avenue Community Center rises behind her, built where luxury condos were planned. Solar panels gleam on the roof. Children play on equipment funded by Whitmore Holdings' restitution settlement. Mrs. Rodriguez tends a garden where she teaches neighborhood kids about growing food. "It's beautiful," David says, joining her at the water's edge. Therapy helped him find peace and purpose. "Community ownership means no one can force them out again," Maya replies. The federal investigation exposed widespread corruption. Mayor Henderson resigned. 3 council members faced charges. Development contracts were voided, and seized assets funded programs citywide. David's transformation surprised everyone. After testifying against his mother, he donated his trust fund to establish a legal aid clinic for displaced families. He started college studying social work. "Have you heard from her?" Maya asks. "Mom writes from prison, mostly apologizing." David skips a stone. Losing everything taught her what matters. Maya's phone reminds her about her community center shift. She works there while attending State University on a legitimate merit scholarship. Elena approaches from the garden, carrying tomatoes and wearing a permanent smile. Her lung function returned to normal with proper treatment through federal health coverage for corruption victims. "Maya, the kids want another CPR lesson." "After dinner, Mama." Maya hugs her mother, amazed by Elena's renewed strength. The lifeguard tower stands empty. Maya passed the job to her replacement when college started. But she returns here to watch the water and remember the day everything changed. "Do you ever regret saving me?" David asks. "Everything that followed?" Maya considers seriously. The fear, manipulation, weeks thinking she'd lost everything, but also justice, community building, friendships forged in crisis. Regret saving a life? Never. You saved mine, too. How? You showed me fighting for what's right isn't about outcomes. It's about choosing who you are when it matters most. As sunset paints the sky, Maya knows tomorrow brings new challenges. Medical school applications, community center fundraisers, the endless work of building something better from corruption's ashes. Tonight, she's exactly where she belongs, surrounded by people she loves, in a place she helped save. The girl who once had nothing now has everything that matters: family, purpose, and the knowledge that ordinary people can create extraordinary change when they refuse to stay silent. Sometimes, the greatest rescue isn't pulling someone from drowning waters. It's pulling them toward hope. 2 years later, Maya Johnson walks across the State University graduation stage. Pre-med degree, summa cum laude. Medical school awaits in the fall. In the audience, Elena claps with tears streaming down her face. David cheers from the family section because that's what they've become, a chosen family born from crisis and kindness. Maya still works summers as a lifeguard at Sunset Beach, not because she has to, but because she wants to. The tower overlooks the community center where dozens of families thrive in homes they own, gardens they tend, and dreams they're building. The thing about being a lifeguard, Maya says in her valedictorian speech, is you don't hesitate when someone needs help. You don't check their bank account or ask about their politics. You just dive in. She pauses, looking out at an audience that includes former neighbors, college friends, and reporters covering the local heroes graduation. Every day we see people drowning, in poverty, in injustice, in systems designed to keep them powerless. The question isn't whether we're strong enough to save them. The question is whether we're brave enough to try. Maya spots Mrs. Rodriguez in the crowd, wearing the university t-shirt Maya gave her. The old woman mouths, "Thank you," in Spanish. Sometimes one act of kindness creates waves that change everything. What would you do if you saw someone drowning? Not just in water, but in life. Maya's story proves that ordinary people can create extraordinary change when they choose courage over comfort, when they choose justice over silence. Have you ever been someone's lifeline? Or has someone been yours? Share your story in the comments below. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about everyday heroes who refuse to look the other way. Remember, you don't need special powers to save someone's life. You just need to be willing to dive in.